Amara had been married to Richard for 11 years. 11 years of rising before dawn to make sure his food was hot. 11 years of managing a home on a budget that was always too tight. 11 years of keeping her mouth shut when his family came around and made small comments about her cooking, her weight, her inability to give him a son. She had endured all of it. With grace. With faith. With the quiet dignity of a woman who believed that if you kept the home well, the home would keep you. Richard was not a bad man, not in the beginning. He worked, he provided, and there were years, good years, when they laughed together on that small balcony, eating suya with their fingers, watching the chaos of the city below them like it was theater. But something had shifted. Gradually. Like the way a house starts to lean before it falls. Her name was Gloria. Richard introduced her as his female best friend from secondary school. He said it casually, the way a man does when he's already decided the explanation is enough. No discussion. No introduction. Just, you remember I told you about Gloria. She'll be coming around sometimes. Amara didn't remember him mentioning Gloria. Not once. In 11 years. The first time Gloria came, she sat in the sitting room and looked around the house with the eyes of someone appraising a property. She picked up one of Amara's decorative plates, turned it over, and put it down without comment. She asked Richard to change the channel, not Amara, Richard, even though Amara was sitting right there. Richard changed the channel. Amara told herself it was nothing. Just an awkward guest. It happens. But Gloria kept coming. And she stopped feeling like a guest. She started coming 3-4 times a week. Sometimes Amara would come home from the market to find Gloria already inside, shoes off, feet on the center table, the television on full volume. She would look at Amara the way you look at someone who has walked into the wrong room. She criticized Amara's pepper soup once, loudly, while Richard was in earshot, saying it lacked depth and that she would show Richard how her mother used to make it. Richard laughed. Amara stood in her own kitchen and smiled while something inside her went very, very cold. She told herself, pray. Be patient. He will come to his senses. She prayed. Richard did not come to his senses. In fact, when Amara gently told him that Gloria's visits were becoming uncomfortable, Richard looked at her with an expression she had never seen before. Like she was being unreasonable. Like she was the problem. Gloria is my friend, he said. You are being insecure. This is exactly the kind of behavior that drives men away. Amara went quiet. That night, she sat in the bathroom with the door locked and she stared at the tiles for a long time. The day everything changed was a Tuesday. Amara had gone to the market in the morning. She was supposed to be gone until evening, but the tomato seller closed early and she found herself back home by 2 p.m., her bags heavy in both hands, the afternoon heat pressing down on her like a physical thing. She put her key in the lock, pushed the door open, and there she was. Gloria. Lying across the marital couch, the couch that Amara had chosen herself from the furniture market on Lagos Island, the couch she had spent 3 Saturdays saving up for, lying there with her legs up, a carton of Amara's ice cream in her hand, a phone call on speaker. And she was talking. Loud and bright and completely unbothered. I'm telling you, this place has become my second home. Richard cooks for me, I watch my shows, I relax. I basically run this house at this point. Laughter from whoever was on the other end of the phone. More laughter from the kitchen, where Richard was standing at the stove, frying plantains. For Amara. No. Not for Amara. For Gloria. Amara stood in the doorway of her own home and did not move. Gloria eventually noticed her and looked up. And here is where a normal person, a person still hoping for the best, might have expected a flicker of shame on Gloria's face. an awkward apology. Something. Instead, Gloria looked her up and down and said, slowly, with a small smile, "Oh, you're back early. You should try knocking next time." The phone call kept going in the background. The oil in the kitchen kept sizzling. The ceiling fan turned lazily overhead. And Amara felt something inside her, that last, trembling thread of patience, snap. Not loudly. Not dramatically. She didn't scream, didn't cry, didn't throw the market bags on the floor. She just became very still. "Good afternoon," she said. And she walked calmly into the bedroom, closed the door behind her, sat down on the edge of the bed, and picked up her phone. She scrolled through her contacts until she found a name she had not dialed in many years. Musa. Now, you need to understand who Musa was. Musa was not a friend. He was not family. He was something harder to explain, or the kind of man that every neighborhood in Lagos has, the kind that people know without quite admitting they know. He moved quietly, he solved problems quietly, and he did not ask too many questions. Amara had known him years ago, before Richard, before this life, when she was a young woman in a different part of the city and the streets had different rules. She had left all of that behind. Or so she thought. The phone rang twice. He picked up. "Sister Amara." His voice was exactly as she remembered it, low, unbothered, the voice of a man who has seen most things and is surprised by very little. She spoke for 4 minutes. She told him the situation. She gave him the address. She told him what time to come the following evening. She did not shout. She did not cry. She explained the problem the way you explain a broken pipe to a plumber, clearly, without drama, with a specific outcome in mind. "I want their thinking corrected," she said. "Nothing more, nothing less. I want them to understand where they are." When she hung up, she sat quietly for another few minutes. Then she stood, washed her face, tied her wrapper properly, and walked back out to the sitting room. Gloria was still on the couch. Amara sat down in the armchair, crossed her legs, and smiled pleasantly. "Gloria, would you like more ice cream? Let me get you a proper bowl." Gloria smiled back, triumphant, satisfied, and said yes. For the next 24 hours, Amara was a different woman. She was calm in a way that Richard mistook for acceptance. She cooked. She laughed at his jokes. She did not mention Gloria's comment. She did not frown when Gloria came again that evening and helped herself to the remote control. Richard watched his wife and felt relieved. He told himself she had finally understood. That she had matured. That she was finally accepting what he needed. He had no idea. He was watching a woman at peace, but it was not the peace of surrender. It was the peace of someone who has already made a decision. The peace before a storm. The next evening, Gloria arrived at 6:15 p.m. She had a takeaway bag in her hand and the confidence of someone who has been winning for so long they've forgotten it's even a competition. She walked in without knocking, naturally, why would she knock? And she set her bag down on the dining table. She looked at Amara, who was sitting quietly, and for just a moment something made her pause. There was something different about Amara's face tonight. She couldn't name it. But she shook it off. She sat down. She opened her bag. She told Richard to get plates. And then, because the devil will always overplay his hand, she looked across at Amara and said, in a bright, generous tone, "Amara, honestly, I've been thinking. You and Richard have just outgrown each other. It happens. Sometimes people are meant to be in each other's lives for a season, not forever. There's no shame in it. It would be better for everyone. Silence. Richard did not say anything. Amara looked at Gloria for a long moment. Then she stood up slowly. Smoothed her skirt. You know what, she said. Let's take this outside. There's something I want to show both of you. There was something in her voice that made Richard look up. Something settled. Final. Like a door closing on a quiet hinge. He followed. Gloria followed, still confident, still carrying her takeaway bag. They stepped out into the compound. The evening air was warm. The neighbors' children were playing somewhere nearby. A generator hummed in the distance. And then, from around the corner of the street, came the sound of motorcycles. Musa stepped off the lead bike. He didn't say much. He didn't need to. What happened in that compound over the next several minutes was not random or frenzied. It was precise. Deliberate. Musa's men knew exactly what they had been sent to do, not to destroy, but to correct. Not to break, but to humble. Richard and Gloria were given something they had perhaps never received before in their lives. Consequences. Real, undeniable, physical consequences. Amara stood at the entrance to the compound and watched the entire thing with the expression of a woman completing an unpleasant but necessary task. There was no joy on her face. No rage. Just a quiet, final authority, the kind you earn only after you have been pushed past the last limit and chosen to push back harder. When it was over, Musa looked at her. She nodded once. He got back on his motorcycle and left. Gloria was shaking. Whatever image she had built of herself in that house, the woman who ran things, who could tell a wife to knock before entering her own home, all of it had dissolved in the last 15 minutes. She was holding her face. Her takeaway bag was somewhere on the floor, forgotten. Amara stood over her. Her voice, when she spoke, was quiet. Almost gentle. Which somehow made it worse. Take your bag. Take your shoes. Take everything you have ever brought into this house. And do not come back. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Not to collect anything. Not to say goodbye. Never. Gloria did not argue. She didn't look up. She left. The gate closed behind her. Amara stood there for a moment. Breathed in the night air. Then she turned to look at her husband. Richard was a wreck. He was sitting on the ground, knees to his chest, a man who had just had every assumption he'd been living on pulled out from under him. He looked up at his wife, this woman he had gaslighted and minimized and slowly, casually, publicly disrespected, and he saw her as if for the first time. Or maybe as if for the last time. He wasn't sure. Amara did not comfort him. She did not extend a hand. She stood straight and looked at him for a long moment before she spoke. You let another woman disrespect me in this house. Repeatedly. You watched it happen. You defended it. You made me feel like I was the unreasonable one. You didn't lose your dignity today, Richard. You gave it away long before today. Today you just felt what that looks like from the outside. I am still your wife. That has not changed. But everything else has changed. All of it. She walked back into the house. Richard slept on the compound that night. He didn't ask to come in. He knew better. In the morning, early, before the neighborhood woke up, he came to the door. He knocked. He waited. Amara opened it after a long pause. He had been crying. His face was swollen and his eyes were small and red, and he looked, for the first time in years, like a man who understood the weight of what he had done. I'm sorry, he said. Amara, I'm sorry. Please. She looked at him for a long time. Then she opened the door wider. But before he crossed the threshold, she held up one hand. "You will clean this entire compound," she said. "By yourself. In the morning. Before anybody leaves for work. Every corner, every gutter, every inch. The neighbors will see you. And they will understand that order has been restored in this house." He opened his mouth. She waited. He closed it. Nodded. She stepped aside. He walked in. The next morning, before 6 a.m., the neighbors of that compound saw something they had never seen before. Richard, educated Richard, proud Richard, the man who had once told his wife that real women don't make noise, out in the compound with a broom, sweeping. Quietly. Thoroughly. From end to end. The women going to market paused at the gate. The men on their way to their cars slowed down. Some of them said nothing. Some of them nodded. The woman who sold pap at the corner called out cheerfully, "Ihen." Now this is a man who knows himself. And from the window, not smiling, not frowning, Amara watched. Respect, she had decided, was not something you asked for. It was not something you prayed for and hoped would come. It was something you built, and when necessary, something you fought for. With whatever tools the situation demanded. This was her house. This was her marriage. This was her ground. And now, everybody knew it. Lagos-style justice. You either understand it or you don't. Was what Amara did extreme? Maybe. Was it legal? That's a different conversation. But was it the language that Richard and Gloria both understood? Without a doubt. Because some people will never understand whispers. Some people only hear clearly when the word speaks to them in a voice they cannot ignore. Amara was a devoted wife. She cooked, she cleaned, she prayed, she endured. She was everything a woman is told to be. And it wasn't enough. Because the problem wasn't her. The problem was that the people around her had mistaken her patience for weakness. They learned the difference. If this story moved you, like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to your channel name for more stories like this. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one.